Welcome to Resume Storyteller with Virginia Franco, bringing you interviews with industry experts and regular folks who tested the job search waters and succeeded, and strategies to tell your story and land you job interviews in 60 days, guaranteed. Here's your host, Virginia Franco.
Hello, guys. It is the Friday before the Thanksgiving holiday, and I am so excited to have with me today personal branding and wardrobe stylist Monica Barrett. She is Blueprint for Style's founder and chief image curator, and she's been featured on stages all around the world as an expert on the importance and power of the first impression. She is passionate about helping men and women to put their best foot forward, and most recently authored The Creative's Closet for female side hustlers, influencers, entrepreneurs, and empire builders that is available on Amazon. She is partnered with everyone from corporate execs to politicos to world-class athletes to fine-tune their style and their brand, and offers simple closet curation services for the rest of us looking to make our everyday dressing effortless. So, Monica, thank you so much. I am a huge fan.
Hello.
So that is quite an impressive bio. But what I am fascinated by is, as you know, I took a peek at your LinkedIn history before you and I spoke. And connected. And I see that you, in your earlier career, you were a consultant at two different top tier consulting firms. And then you had lots of corporate roles before making your pivot into what you're doing today as an image consultant and a personal stylist. Will you walk us through how the heck you did that? How'd your journey come to be?
That's so funny. I wish it, and so when I see that question and I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, how can I walk anybody through madness? I don't know that it's fair to walk people through madness, but what I can say is this, is that I did start out in my former life. And I think we all live, I think they said 7 lives. So
I'm on my 3rd or 4th. Yep.
Okay, good. I'm on my 3rd or 4th too. But in that life, I was an operational consultant, and I focused on, helping hospitals and major health systems focus on their revenue enhancement. And revenue enhancement in healthcare is a big thing because, you got to think about $1 and how much the average hospital or health system or medical group actually takes home from that. So that's what I used to do. And I feel like I loved it. I woke up every day and, I was doing 70, 80 hours a week. At one point when I worked for a company called Deloitte & Touche in Seattle, Washington, I was home, I think just under 300. I was gone on the road just under 300 days. And I thought it was really interesting. I was like, wow, I'm never home.
Yeah.
I had more hotel points.
I'll bet. Yeah, you had 1 million points, but that, being a road warrior, it takes its toll.
Yeah, it takes its toll. But I loved what I did, so it was no problem. But I think I just got to the point where somewhere along the line, I don't know who planted the seed, where it came from, but it started to sprout. And it was, gosh, is this it? Like, is there more? Is this all? Do I love this as much as I think I do? So I think it's some of those fundamental questions that I started asking myself, and I couldn't give myself a good enough answer. I pushed it, and I don't know that I'd recommend it for anybody, but I pushed it, and I went into my boss's office one day, and I had just broken out into shingles because I was so stressed from work. And I noticed I was getting more gray hair, which is a whole nother story for another day. And I just walked in my boss's office and I said, I quit. And he just looked at me. He said, what? I said, I quit. And that was it. I am a little bit of a spur of the moment, and I find that there is a fine line.
That's a big spur of the moment decision. Yeah.
Yes. There is a fine line between inspiration and insanity, and I may have crossed it that day. But it was a culmination of many things that, just made it the perfect storm to walk into his office to say, I'm done.
All right. It was the right call.
Yeah. And that was my sister's. I went back to my office. I called my sister. I told her I did it. And she said, it's okay. She's like, focus on Blueprint for Style. She's like, give yourself a year. And if it doesn't work, you can always go back. And it was my sister's nudge to say, give yourself space, be gentle with yourself, that kind of led me there. And that was 13 years ago.
So you had this little side thing going on the whole time. Yep.
You got it. So when I think of my book about the creative's closet for side hustlers, I was a side hustler. I was doing it for friends. I was styling them. I was flying all over the country to help them. Again, I had points, so it didn't matter.
Oh, right. Yeah, there you go.
I was like, oh, I can pay for that. No worries. Let me come and help you. I mean, that's not a good business model, right? To take that on. But that's what I did. I was just, flying. I was like, oh, let me help you. I had an eye for what worked well, what didn't. I liked the idea of just talking folks through a little bit of the psychology behind it. So for me as a wardrobe stylist, and everyone has their thing in their lane, their niche, mine was really focusing on the psychology of it. I loved what it meant when you put on dark horn rimmed glasses and present. What that indicates is it's very Urkel-like. It's very nerdy, and it gives you a different it gives you a professorial edge versus not. I mean, they're just little nuances that you think through, and you're just like, oh, wow, I didn't even know I was programmed to think that.
We're going to have a whole sidebar conversation where I'm going to present you my 5 Warby Parker glasses, and you're going to let me know which ones to wear for what kinds of.
Yes.
That is fascinating. But I didn't, that whole side hustle thing, there's so many people that are testing the waters out doing this right now. And what you did, and I did the same thing. You were sort of doing it all along. It wasn't paying any huge bills, but it gave you the opportunity to see if you liked it, see if you didn't, and
see if you throw something on the wall and see if it sticks.
See if it stuck. Exactly. Versus making a huge investment. I'm going to launch this company from nothing and quit my job. You were doing it at the same time. So that's really, that's amazing. So I would love to just fast forward to the world that we are in right now, the pandemic. It has turned your business around, it's turned my business upside down, and it's turned everyone's worlds upside down. But on the styling front, so many of us we're taking less care in what we wear and how we look, because, we're at best we have to be on Zoom, at worst we don't see anyone. What's the downside or is there a downside to this attitude from the psychological perspective?
Yes, 100%. So one of the things that I coach large staffs through is this idea that, and just step back again to the psychology of it, it's a different perspective, and you're going to feel physically and mentally different when you are sitting at a desk, clickety-clacking in leggings that you've had for 3 days, a sweatshirt that has baby spit up on it, or maybe leftover spaghetti sauce. Your hair, maybe, I just rolled out of bed. You might have thrown it up and just whipped it in the back. It doesn't look necessarily combed. You didn't get a chance to wash it this morning. You've got the sleep out of your eyes. You put a little lip chap on. You're like, let me get this work done.
Yep, the roll out of bed wardrobe.
Yes, that is a different mental feeling and lack of enablement than if you get dressed, you put on your outfit, and your outfit can be, those Lululemon pants. It can be a nice puff sleeve sweatshirt or a cashmere sweatshirt. You put on a lip. You don't have to go full regalia with the makeup, but what it does for you is it signals to the mind that we're doing something different. It signals to the mind that we are transitioning to quote unquote business. And so it allows you to mentally get yourself in a headspace to say, okay, now I've got to do business. And that looks different. It feels different. You have to act different. You have to be different. So there is a clear disadvantage when you roll out of bed and you start to do work versus roll out of bed, get ready, and then work.
Do you feel like, for people that have, there's some people that have sort of always worked from home. Their jobs are home-based and maybe they didn't have that. I'm one of those people where for the last 14 years, I started work at 5 in the morning. I'd finish at 11 o'clock at night, but I took lots of breaks because I was doing the home front stuff. And so so getting dressed for work was hard at some points, because then I'd have to go and let me go jump and do something in someone's school, or let me go do mom junk. How does that fool with the mind?
Oh, so there's a couple things in there. And again, one of the things I offer as a point of differentiation, there's a big difference between remote working and working from home. So step back and understand those two concepts. We're using them interchangeably, but they're not. You've got to think that work from home is a benefit. Remote working is a lifestyle. Work from home is, oh my God, I work all the time in the office, and I'm having a dryer installed. So I'm working from home today because the dryer needs to be installed. So you're working at your kitchen, or you may be working in your bed part of the time. You're going to sit at your dining room table and just, hammer out some stuff, take some calls, do whatever. That's working from home. Remote working is different. It is a lifestyle choice. And that lifestyle choice says that you are no longer, it's not about a convenience of, there's someone coming, or my daughter's home for the day, for the weekend, so I want to be home, or, there's a delivery coming. It is about creating an entire workspace that is dedicated to what you are doing, which is business, which is work. So it isn't, if we were to do a video call, you're not sitting at a kitchen table or dining room table. You are in an office space.
That's right, a dedicated home office.
You are in a dedicated home office. You have the supplies, you have the workspace, you have the pens, the pencils, the all-in-ones, the high-speed internet, the lighting to do business, to conduct business. And so there's a difference. Know which one we're doing. For most people, this is hard because they are stuck in a work from home frame of mind. And we have to transition to remote working. You need to learn how to do remote working. It is a lifestyle. It is you sitting down with your family and saying, hey, here are the ground rules. When dad has a sock on the door, that means you don't come in because he's on a business call. You don't disturb me between 12 and 2 because that's when I grind things out. It says, this is what, you set norms for your family because it is a business. You're conducting work.
I am so glad that you spelled that out. That never occurred to me that there would be a difference.
Yeah, it's a difference.
It's all in the psychology too, like what you were saying.
It is. And you have to know that part of the workers when you're remote working is everyone that's in that house, right? They're part of your team. And so your team just can't bust in on you and be like, hey mom, I got to get this done. That's not how we do that. Because in an office, when I shut my door, that means you don't come in my office.
That's right.
That's right. You knock at the door, say, do you have a minute? And a whisper. You've got to set those same ground rules. This is remote working. And we've got to get people to think differently that this is remote working and not just working from home.
I completely agree with you. So one of the things I saw on your website is that, how you help people to look their best both in their personal life and their professional life. What advice can you give to people that are either remote from home or working from home right now, and they are trying to balance all that stuff? They're getting messy, and then they have to go jump on Zoom calls. What we all need help with this stuff. Where should they start?
So there's a couple things. My first and foremost thing I tell you, and it is a psychology thing, but it will do so much for you, is create a morning routine. And don't get me wrong, that morning routine doesn't have to be, I am up at 4, I'm running for an hour, I come back, I make coffee, I do the laundry. It doesn't have to be all that. Your morning routine can be, I don't check my phone, I get up, I do 30 seconds of awareness and my prayer or whatever, my silent time. I make my coffee. I wash my face. I get one of my outfits on, and I sit. I answer my emails on the phone at the kitchen table, and then I go to work. That can be your morning routine. But you, number one, must create a morning routine.
So is this before work starts, quote unquote?
Yes.
Okay.
You absolutely need it. Your body and your mind, we are creatures of habit. As humans, we work and we love the idea of putting things on autopilot. And when you create a morning routine, it tells your mind, okay, now it's time to do this. Okay. There are tons of times. Think about it. You jump in the car and you're headed to the grocery store. You don't map out the grocery store because you've been there 5 million
times, right?
You know it. This is the same thing. You want to get your brain to be like, okay, now you know it's time to transition, because when you sit in this desk in this chair and look at this desk and look at this laptop, we know it's time for work. So morning routine is number one.
Okay.
My second thing to tell you, create 2 work from home or remote working outfits. Create them now. Go into your closet. It requires you to take 30 minutes of your time. Create them. They don't have to be a blazer, a tie, a button down, or a formal dress and shoes. You don't need all that. But whatever works for your lifestyle, create that. For me, that is a nice pair of jeans and an awesome shirt. My second option is I like sweatshirts because I'm always cold. So I have a cashmere sweatshirt that I throw on. It's a colorful cashmere sweatshirt. It just reads nice. Put them aside. Those are just not things that you can walk the dog on. You can't burp the baby in them.
Okay.
You can't paint the side of the house in them. It's no different than having work clothes. You're not going to go put on a suit and be like, oh, let me go outside and play football with you.
Right.
You
don't
do it.
Okay.
Find your 2 work from home outfits and hold them as your work pieces. Put them aside. Create 2 full outfits at minimum.
And this is top to bottom, not just, okay.
It's top to bottom.
Okay.
I tell you, if you mistakenly stand up in a video call, you'll be very embarrassed if you're not wearing the right thing.
Yeah.
So
okay.
It's top to bottom in that sense. Now, you don't have to do shoes. Like, you're not allowed to wear shoes in my house. So shoes are just never, I'll never have shoes on. But at no point am I rolling up to show
your
you my feet.
Your feet are on camera, right? Exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So that's okay. So create 2 top to bottom outfits. That's your second. And then your third piece I would tell you is in your workspace. Pause on this because this takes a little work. Think about how you work best and implement that at home. So that's hard. When you think about how you work best, I love natural light. So my office, my desk faces south so that I can see the light the entire day.
Oh,
my
nice.
IG light with my big chair faces the window so that I can see the light. I have created, I've taken the door off of my office because I don't like to feel like I'm cooped into anything. So I want it open at all times. I literally took the door off the hinges. I've created 3 sources of light in my space. And I painted the room. It is teeny as God knows what. It is super small, but I painted it white. It took me about 3 hours on a Saturday, but I painted it white. And so it's this, and I want to say it's a teeny room, like it's an 8x8 room. It's super small. But I say create and think about the workspace that you like and what moves you and implement that. For me, I love light. I like to feel like I've got space to move. I don't want to be, housed in. So white space, light, and natural light are my things. That's what I put into my workspace.
I love that. And to your point, it doesn't seem like we are going to be back in offices anytime soon. So the more you can do to embrace that as a lifestyle. I set up a stand-up desk because I need to be able to move around, and I have pictures of the beach all over my office. Because it makes me happy. So, and it puts me, all right, because this is the space where you're going to be spending a good hunk of your time.
Exactly.
So in terms of the whole getting messy thing, what are your thoughts on, you have your top to bottom outfit. Do you have maybe like an icky sweatshirt that you throw over yourself if you need to bop out of the office world or the remote work and into the home part of your life? If you need to go in and out?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. But again, I don't have like babies around so that I'm not bopping out and I don't have to necessarily deal with that. For me, most of my bopping out means I'm running to the grocery store. I'm running to the local coffee store. And for me, there's no place that I want to leave my house and not look right.
Okay.
There's something to be said for not looking right.
Okay.
So,
all right. Nope, that makes sense. I remember when my kids were little, I had a vomit sweatshirt and I would put it on over my work clothes and get everyone ready and take it off and throw it in the back of the car.
Okay, there you go. And so I think the concept, I like it, of the vomit sweatshirt is good. I mean, at some point, I can't speak to the woes of the kids, but yes, you do need something that will help you transition. So dark colors are going to be good for you, especially on the bottom.
Yeah. Okay.
And I like the idea. I tell people that one of the things you want to think about is take care in what you're choosing as your items. You really want to choose things that are machine washable. At this point, I don't know the last time I've been to the dry cleaner.
Right. I know. I feel bad for them.
If it can't be thrown into the washer, I'm likely not going to get it.
So that's a good point. The top to bottom outfits that you pick need to work with your lifestyle.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I've got clients who are like, I got suits. I'm like, you don't even know how many suits you have in dry cleaner because it's been a solid 11 months since you've seen them.
That's right.
So just find an awesome shirt that you can throw in the washer when something messes up.
Okay. All right. So you alluded to the whole camera call thing with wearing something on the bottom. I'd love to transition into how do we look good on these video calls? Zoom has the touch up my appearance button on the account settings.
Yeah.
What are, I can't really tell if it makes a difference on mine, to be honest, but what are some other tips that you can offer to help us look as good as possible?
Okay, so there are a couple. The first that I remind you of, and I want to ground everybody in this, the best tip I can remind you of is male or female. There is not a news anchor alive that doesn't get a makeup touch-up before they go on camera.
Okay.
So male and female, keep that in your head. The reason I tell you to keep that in your head is, number one, you must realize you have a teeny piece of visual real estate to work with. And for that teeny piece of visual real estate, you have to balance getting people's attention versus overwhelming them. So, number one, I tell people stick to brights and solids on top. Brights and solids. Okay. Too many prints look busy. The eye can't settle. It's a lot going on. Too dark cannot really highlight you appropriately.
So brights are like jewel tone kind of stuff?
Jewel tones are great. White is awesome. Cream is awesome. Purple's your color. Throw on a nice purple.
Okay.
But brighter colors along with whites and a nude or like a gray and solids do very well across screen. If you look at NBC, even if I live in DC, you look on screen, one of the mandates that was given is stay solid on top. You will very rarely find an anchor person that does prints.
That's right. Even their ties have the teeniest little prints, if anything.
Yeah.
With the men. True.
You find it, the women almost exclusively do solids. You just don't do prints. They don't read well. So that's number one. Lighter colors. So white, lights, brights, and solids. Number one. My number two thing for you to do to make yourself, quote unquote, look better on screen is to get the right lighting. Lighting is everything, right? It is everything. Amazon creates an awesome light. It's $28. If you want, I will send you the link and you can share it with everybody.
That'd be great. I use a Lume Cube. Are you familiar with that one?
I'm not familiar with Lume Cube, but
it's sections on the back of your laptop and it's super cheap as well. Yeah.
Okay. And so the one I'm going to send you doesn't necessarily have to go on your laptop. So there are a lot of people that will work on your phone or that may work on multiple laptops. So just having something for your laptop can sometimes. And then if you're not working in your office and if it's a desktop, you might want to choose a day where you've got a white background, but it's the dining room table and you just have to do one call. So you want to be able to have the light that kind of moves with you.
Okay.
So I will tell you, lighting is everything. And the best thing to have is lighting that comes from overhead, not from behind you or directly in your face. So lighting from overhead, but that's close by, typically resonates the best on screen. And then the third and final thing I would tell you is mind your manners when you get on screen. So you want to be about an arm's length away from the camera, about an arm's length, maybe a little less from the camera, because from a psychological perspective, when you step too far away from the camera and you are distanced in the camera, it takes away from your authority, and it diminishes your stature. And that's that's never what you want to do. And being too close makes it uncomfortable.
You're fooling with their personal boundaries if you're too close.
Yeah. And so what you want to do is, you can practice, put your selfie mode on and just kind of practice what that looks like to give yourself enough space in the camera, but also allow you to have background. And then the background, honestly, is another session, but for your background, for the most part, you don't want it to be too busy. You want it to be professional. You want it to be curated. You don't want to do the fake Zoom backgrounds. They're very distracting. They're not considered professional. If you're just hanging out with your girlfriends, knock yourself out. Your boyfriends, knock yourself out, but doesn't read professional. And yeah, that's it. So if I gave my 3 pieces of advice, those would be the 3 things that will make you look best. Oh, can I add a 4th one, please? Please. My 4th one is, and I circle back around to my main point, is some type of color for your face. Guys, I'm not saying put on lipstick, but I am saying put chapstick on because ashy lips show up. I am telling you, guys, get a piece of rice paper and dust all of the oil off of your nose and your chin and your forehead because it shows up on screen. I'm telling you, ladies, don't come without any makeup because it makes you look
washes
drab.
You out. Yeah.
It totally washes you out. At minimum, my 2 favorite pieces, and I cannot stand makeup. So this is from someone who doesn't love makeup. There are 2 items that I use religiously. I use RMS Beauty does a little bronzer. It is a grown girl glow. It works beautifully on camera. And then the second thing is I remind you is have a lip. I do a red lip because it adds pop and doesn't wash me out. And I have a great one and I can recommend a great one, but have a lipstick on. Try to avoid lip gloss too much, especially if you have longer hair because your hair sticks to the gloss.
That's right.
It doesn't look good.
Okay.
So I remind people of that. So just do a matte or a semi-matte lipstick, but have something on that gives you some color so you're not washed out. The camera always takes something away. So you got to get it back.
All right. So bright colors, good lighting, arm's length, color with your face.
And you're ready.
And you posted on the comment. I've never heard anyone mention the whole distance thing, but it makes perfect sense. It's just because you're the cameras, you want to pretend like you're in the room with someone. You wouldn't want to be talking to someone 2 inches from their face.
Exactly. You're like, hello, can you step back a little?
You're offending my personal body space.
Like, where are you?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to look like you're enveloped by the space. Exactly.
So in terms of, you talked about a go-to piece for 1 or 2 go-to outfits for work. What about a go-to wardrobe piece for video interviewing?
Ooh, so I love video interviewing. I've done probably at this point about 10 law schools. We do a session on virtual interviewing and what not to wear and what to wear. And I will tell you that the go-to piece for, it's hard. For ladies, I'm going to tell you, and it's different for ladies and men.
Yeah.
I'll do men first because men is easier. You will find that you can, unless it's the most formal of circumstances, you don't need a tie. I would tell you that a nice button-down shirt with a sport coat is the answer. The bottom, again, matters a little less, just as long as you've got some pants
something on. It's so easy with men.
Yes. So again, just keep it business casual, more on the side of business, less on the side of casual. And what you want to project and always bring across is, I care, I took the time, and I'm ready, right? Okay. I care, I took the time, and I'm ready. And then on the ladies' side, I'm always a fan of V-necks because I think, and scoop necks because they frame the face the best. But at minimum, have a clean clavicle, have a clean breastbone, and come up from there. So a nice white shirt, crisp white shirt with a nice collar on it, with a nice necklace that sits there is awesome. If a necklace is not your thing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about jewelry.
If necklace is not your thing, you may have a little scarf on there, or a little ascot, or a little tie on there. That's all fine.
And is it okay if the scarf has a minor pattern on it, do you think?
Yes.
Or just, okay.
It's okay because you're bouncing it off a solid color. If you are coming with a print top, you absolutely don't want to do another print.
Okay.
Absolutely not. That would be the kiss of death. I would tell you, we're assuming this is a nice, crisp white shirt. Like when I say in my book, The Creator's Closet, one of the things, the most essential thing you can have in your closet is a crisp white button down. It fulfills just about any
It's like the little black dress of entertaining. Okay.
But it's everything.
I wish I'd spoken with you yesterday. I did a YouTube channel live, and then I was on a lunch and learn, and I was freezing, so I wore a turtleneck sweater, it was the right color, but I totally broke all these rules.
Yeah, a crisp white button down will get you through literally. It'll take you from business meeting. You can put a belt on it and jazz it up and go out for drinks. You can put it on an Instagram live with a nice scarf or a necklace. You can hang out in the middle of summer, open it up, put a little tie on either side and put a tank in it. It's the most versatile piece that you can have in your closet. You need it. Every person needs the basic white, crisp.
I think I have to do some shopping when we get off this call. Okay. So, assuming that we do get out of our houses, and many of us are going to return to the office, what do you think is going to happen with traditional professional attire? Do you think there'll be some things that stick and some things that really never come back?
So, here's my guess, and I'm going to love that. I'm love that we're recording.
Yeah, this is like, crystal ball. What do you think? Yes.
Exactly. Come to me a year from now and be like, oh my God.
You're right.
I think a couple of things are happening. First of all, you've got to remember that formal dress is really going the way of the samurai, right? I mean, we have slowly moved away from dressing every day and our nice outfits. You look at the pictures back in the day of people when they quote unquote dressed. We moved away slightly by doing casual Fridays. We moved further away by doing summers where it was more casual, warm weather. Then we moved away by a lot of companies moving to dress for your day. I mean, so we are inherently moving more casual. I think what you are going to find 9 months from now when we go back into the office is that companies are going to struggle to help employees and professionals find the balance of what casual looks like. Because I don't think they're going to push people to come back and be suited and booted because it's not necessary. But I think that what we're going to find is after sitting on the couch for 9 months and after having 2 or 3 work from home uniforms, we're just going to want to take that back into the office, and we're going to need to step it up a little bit to still re-implement the concept of this is what business looks like.
Yeah.
And so business shouldn't be too casual. But my prediction is twofold, is that we will still move towards casual, but we will struggle a little bit to find that balance between what business casual looks like. And I think you'll find that companies will be pushing for a little more business and a little less casual, while we as workers are pushing the other way. a little more casual and a little less business.
Well, and I used to work for a financial services company in a call center, and I remember those discussions. You're right. The business wanted more casual, wanted more business, less casual, and the employees were the other way around. And there was a lot of going around saying that's out of uniform, that's okay to do. It was tough.
Yes. You got to create some norms for people and let them move within them. I just think we may find it a little bit harder to come up with what those norms look like. That's what I anticipate.
I'm going to loop back with you in a year and see where we are with this.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Because it might be that people are so excited to put on work clothes again. Who knows?
Yeah, that could be it too.
So there's always different industry dress codes, right? I mean, what you see in downtown Washington is different than Wall Street, is different than Silicon Valley. Accountants dress very differently than, advertisers and marketing folks. Are there any choices that you feel like sort of transcend industries? And
yes.
What do you recommend for people that are trying to navigate dressing for a specific corporate or industry culture?
So I think there are a couple things that you step back on, and I think from even just from a psychological perspective, that will do you well to remember. So I think the first and foremost is know the company that you work for. The law firm is inherently more formal. So, I mean, I don't need to tell you that you can't roll in there with jeans and a t-shirt. It just doesn't work that way. Versus when I do my sessions for Google, I certainly can't tell them to wear a suit because they're going to be like, we like jeans and t-shirts.
You stand out like a sore thumb. Right.
Exactly. So my first is look around you, know your company, and know what the standard is. You'll see it by literally doing a 360 around you. That's my first thing. My second is to dress aspirationally. So I always look to one or two positions higher than where you are and look at how they dress. I've very rarely gone into most of my major corporations and seen my senior suite and my C-suite rolling in jeans and a t-shirt. They may roll in jeans on casual Friday, but they got a button-down shirt, a nice shirt or a nice sweater and a blazer. So they've managed to do what I call curated casual. So you need to look one or two steps ahead of yourself and see what they're wearing. And I think that they represent a good place for where it is you probably need to be aiming for. And then third, in terms of, and I think I've given you two, right? So I think the third is I would just remind you, regardless of industry, regardless of position, you need to make sure that you're adding a little personality into the picture. We're not automatons. No one should be even if the uniform is, everyone has to wear a blue uniform, that's great. Add a scarf to your uniform.
Okay. Something that's you.
If it's all the blue uniform, maybe you do a blue uniform and you're like, I love metallic flats with my blue uniform. That's great. But bring something of yourself to the table when you're thinking about getting dressed. And that is across any industry, because the bottom line is it can be your conversation starter. It is a piece of you, and what people really want at the end of the day is they want a connection with you, right?
Yeah.
It's that know, like, trust theme, right? And in knowing and liking you is I need to know who you are. So give me a piece of you. So I always tell people to add some personality in what you got.
No, I love that. And I always encourage people, if they are interviewing or they're, and they don't know what the look is, and this is for when we get out of the house and go back to in-person interviews, in-person interviews, go to LinkedIn, look at their pictures, see what they're wearing. A lot of companies have videos on YouTube, and you can look and see what, recognizing a lot of times those are hired actors, but at least you can see what they want people to be wearing, to give you some clues.
Exactly.
So you might have mentioned some of these already, but if there's anything else that you have to add, I'd love to hear it. Sort of one or two pieces that every professional woman and man needs in their wardrobes.
So the white button down.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've listened to this and you're thinking, I've got a white button down and I'm not sure, stop. If you're not sure, I guarantee you it's not the awesome white button down you want. That's a given. That's easy. Because you will know when you look at it and you're like, heck yeah, this is it.
Okay.
This is money. So that's it. Your number one is your white button down. The second investment I would tell you, or the second must have, is our accessories. Accessories don't care if you've had a bad day. Accessories don't care if you've gained weight or lost weight. Accessories are wonderful, wonderful pieces to invest in. Accessories allow you to move outfit to outfit without getting a side eye. As much as we love the white button down, you can't wear it for 5 days without people looking at you like you're crazy. So the accessories are really, in my mind, I think of accessories as the glue between the bricks, right? It's the glue that makes the outfit. It's bricks and mortar. Your clothes are the bricks. Your accessories are the mortar. So great accessories bring an outfit and keep it together. So think through and invest in just a great set of jewelry for gentlemen. I am looking hard at your wallet. I'm looking hard at your belt. I'm looking hard at your tie. I'm looking hard at your shoes. Those are accessories.
Your wallet?
Yeah, I mean your wallet. I mean, I'm just saying, like if I were on a date, just think.
Okay, got it. Okay, yeah.
But you shouldn't have a wallet that's got 30 cards in it. Like,
there you go. Okay.
Makes that massive bulge on your butt. Like we're not looking, you're not.
I hear
like
you.
on the
Okay.
land.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant.
So you want to just think through those little things, but they count. And then from an accessory standpoint, it's little things like your phone cover. You should never show up to an interview with Hello Kitty as your phone cover. With the little ears sticking out. I've seen that. I've been there.
Oh my gosh, I never even thought about your phone as an accessory. Your phone case.
Yeah, it doesn't register very well to an interviewer. So,
what does yours look like?
Mine is actually it's a Lumi. So the back is rose gold abstract art.
Ooh, all right. So mine's clear. Does that say anything wrong or right? Okay.
No,
that's pretty darn boring. Okay.
No, I think you have a better chance of going wrong than you have of doing it. You have a better chance of doing it right than wrong. The wrong is just, and I see it again, I've seen it a couple times. And the one I think of most recently is that big bunny ear from the Hello Kitty phone. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, take that off when you go into the interview. Seriously. That just doesn't work. I mean, little things like that. So you think of the little accessories, those little details across the board, regardless of industry, those little details can make or break you.
You're so right. And you're right. And these are accessories that didn't exist 20 years ago, right? Nobody had to think about this
not
stuff.
At all.
Boy, all right. So last question, then I will let you go. On top of your business, your speaking engagement, you just released this huge book. What is on the radar for 2021? What are you excited about?
Oh my God. That's a great question. And if I had a good answer, I would share it.
Well, you certainly have enough for 2020 to keep you going into 21, but I just want to give this as a chance for you to plug whatever you got going on down the road.
Yes. 2021, we'll see a book tour. So we'll be doing a limited release book tour, kind of popping up again, small venues, little waves of time, small intimate affairs for the book, doing readings and really just talking through the creative's closet, getting creative and actually helping people create their closet. So we'll see that in 2021.
That's exciting.
That will be fun. And then I think the other big thing for 2021 is I've already started penning the third book. So we'll be waiting to kind of see if that takes. And that'll be focused
title
on
or no?
I don't have a title yet, but it'll be more focused on men than women. So.
All right. That is exciting. Yes. So if people want to learn more about you, I've included on your bio your Blueprint for Style website, a link to your book, and also your online style school. Do you want to talk a little bit about that real quick?
Oh, the online style school is great. So I consider myself a multi-hyphenate, if you will. And so one of the things that if you can't make a meeting with me, if we can't work together because maybe it's not in your price point, I created the online style school as a way to present a contactless, lower price point option. And there are courses that teach you about a variety of style conundrums that you may need to solve for. And so some of the classes are backpack to briefcase. So it's ideal for my college and graduate students that are transitioning from college to real work and what they need in their closet and what they need to be thinking about as they transition. So from backpack to briefcase. There's a class on there because I'm very, very big on this concept of sustainable fashion, being environmentally friendly. There is a course on there on how to think differently about your fashion and build an eco-friendly closet. There are basic style tips and basic how do you create your style persona classes. So they're really just a lot of the basics and fundamentals that will get you started in the right direction. And maybe that's all you need. But what they will really allow you to do is build a little knowledge base, build an awareness so that you can grow from there. So that's what the style school is about.
Okay. If people want to connect with you, is your website the best place to do it, or how would you like them to reach you?
Oh my God, if they want to connect with me, oh my gosh, I would tell them to there's a link on, I think you have my link. It's a milkshake link. I don't know. I think you have it. And if not, I'll send it to you. Okay. You can go to my website and there's a contact button. Just fill it out. It asks for your name, it asks for your email and says, what are we discussing? And we will set up a complimentary 20 to 30 minute session to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about.
Awesome. Well, Monica, thank you so much. You've given me tons of things to think about. I've got some shopping to do this weekend. And I learned a lot. You're wonderful.
Let me know if you need help. Okay.
Take care.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
You've been listening to Resume Storyteller with Virginia Franco. To learn more about storytelling strategies to catch the eye of today's SCIM online readers, hiring and decision makers, go to www.virginiafrancoresumes.com.